At a paper mill, a worker tries clearing a jam from a large industrial roller. Suddenly, he's violently pulled into the machine. This is a classic failure of lockout-tagout. Power must be cut and locked out before maintenance. A tow truck has parked with its steel winch cable stretched taut across a residential street. A scooter rider, completely unaware of the nearly invisible hazard, drives at speed directly into it. He is violently clotheslined and thrown from the bike. This is gross negligence. Any cable stretched across a public way must be made highly visible with flags and cones, and the area should have been completely blocked off from traffic. In an auto repair shop, a mechanic carefully guides a pickup truck into a service bay. The driver suddenly accelerates instead of braking, pinning the worker against the wall. This shows the inherent danger of being in a vehicle's path. Spotters must always maintain a safe distance and have a clear escape route. Inside a textile factory, workers stand near a massive thread winding machine where hundreds of threads are fed at high speed. One worker gets too close, and a thread snags his clothing, violently pulling him off his feet and dragging him toward the intake rollers. This machinery presents a severe entanglement risk. Proper machine guarding is essential to create a barrier between workers and moving parts. Additionally, loose clothing should never be worn, and emergency stop controls must be clearly marked. An instructor and a child ride a tandem zip line over a deep ravine. Suddenly, the child slips completely out of their harness. The instructor heroically manages to grab and hold on to the child as they speed down the line. This is a shocking failure of pre-ride safety protocols. All harnesses, carabiners, and safety lines must be inspected and double-checked before every single use. A forklift loads a stack of heavy industrial tires onto a truck bed, where another worker is waiting. The load is unstable and suddenly topples over, crushing the man beneath its immense weight. This is a fatal mistake of being in the line of fire. Workers must never be under a suspended or unstable load. The load should have been stacked securely, and workers should clear the area during lifting operations. A man enters a hardware store, grabs a can of flammable liquid, and immediately starts a fire in an aisle. This isn't a workplace accident, but a deliberate act of arson. For any business, this shows the importance of having multiple, clearly marked fire extinguishers, unobstructed emergency exits, and a well-rehearsed evacuation plan. At a tire shop, a mechanic works on a large truck tire lying on the ground. Without any warning, the tire explodes with incredible force, throwing the mechanic through the air. This catastrophic event is why inflating large tires requires strict safety protocols. Overpressurization or damage to the tire's structure can turn it into a bomb. All large tires must be inflated inside a reinforced safety cage, which is designed to contain the explosive energy. Workers should never lean or stand directly over a tire as it is inflated. At a loading dock, a forklift operator begins to raise the forks. At that exact moment, a scooter carrying two people drives directly into their path, colliding hard with the rising steel forks. This incident highlights the chaos of a poorly managed work zone. There is a severe lack of situational awareness from both the scooter driver and the forklift operator. Industrial yards require clear, designated pathways for vehicles and pedestrians, good lighting, and for all personnel to remain alert. In a poorly lit workshop, two men are working on the floor near what appears to be a compressed gas cylinder. Suddenly, it explodes in a massive fireball. Gas cylinders are potential bombs if mishandled. They must always be stored upright, secured from falling, and inspected for damage before use. A man operates a large industrial lathe, leaning over the rapidly spinning chuck. His loose jacket sleeve gets snagged, and he is instantly and violently pulled into the machine, spinning at a terrifying speed before a coworker hits the emergency stop. This is a classic entanglement accident. The number one rule when working with rotating machinery is absolutely no loose clothing, untied long hair, or jewelry. These items can be grabbed in a fraction of a second. Additionally, a chuck shield could have prevented this contact. At a gas station next to a busy roundabout, a chaotic car accident occurs. One of the involved cars rolls backward, out of control, directly into the station forecourt, striking an unsuspecting attendant sitting in a chair. This incident underscores the risk of working near live traffic. Protective barriers, like bollards, are essential to shield work areas from errant vehicles. A large truck reverses toward a loading bay, while a pedestrian walks directly into its path from behind. The driver, with no visibility in this massive blind spot, continues backing up and runs the person over completely. This is a tragic and preventable blind spot accident. Large vehicles must be equipped with functioning backup alarms and cameras. Crucially, a dedicated spotter should always guide a reversing truck, maintaining constant visual contact with the driver. In a busy shipping yard, a man walks across the pavement while completely absorbed by his phone. He fails to notice an approaching forklift and steps directly into its path, getting struck and knocked down. This is a clear case of distracted walking in a high-risk environment. Using a phone while walking in an active yard with heavy machinery should be strictly forbidden. Pedestrians must maintain full situational awareness at all times. A mechanic performs welding work underneath a car on a lift. Sparks from his tool ignite a flammable liquid on the floor, likely spilled fuel, and the vehicle erupts into a massive ball of fire. The mechanic is forced to scramble to safety from the inferno. This is a failure of hot work safety procedures. Before any welding or grinding, the area must be completely cleared of all flammable materials, including liquids, vapors, and oily rags. A fire extinguisher must be within arm's reach, and it is also standard practice to disconnect the vehicle's battery.